We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
I never knew there was a place to go where my spirits.
Good afternoon and welcome to Sisters at the Well Radio, a conversation with women about women, coming to you from the beautiful Los Angeles, California. I am Linda Morgan, your host for today and the host of Sisters at for Jazz. We are here every second and third Sunday of the month, and I am also the founder of the Living Legend Foundation, an organization that celebrates and honors jazz and blues legends. To date, we have honored 55 legends here in Los Angeles. And as you probably can tell, yes, I'm a little nervous, so I'm going to calm down. For all my friends out there, you know, I'm just going to tell you right up front. I am happy to have you to join us here on the World Wide Web, on Ustream or iTunes. And I am excited to have in the studio with me three phenomenal divas of jazz: Ann Mack, Sharon Marie Klein, and Miss Debbie Joyce. Barbara Perkins, our lead host of Sisters at the Well Radio, says, when you think of this show, we want you to think of the view on radio. We expect you to enjoy we expect to enjoy ourselves, but we want you to enjoy listening as well. We also invite you to call in during the show, and we would try to get to each of you on the calls. The call-in number, just so if you'd like to call in, some of my friends, I've asked you to call in. The number is 323-247-7433. Again, that's 323-247-7433 when we are live on the radio. 7433?
7443.
7443. I am so sorry. That number is plastered all over everywhere incorrectly. 247-7443. Again, let's jump right into meeting each of my guests, and they will share about themselves and what they have going on. But I'll give you a little brief introduction of each. Sharon Marie Klein, sitting here right next to me, hails from Jacksonville, Florida. She's an extraordinary vocalist who brings a unique and distinguished sense of jazz history to her song stylings. Sharon, welcome to Sisters for Jazz.
Thank you, Linda. Oh, I'm so thrilled to be here.
Me too. We're going to be kiddie all day, but that's great. And then next to Sharon, we have our jazz living legend that we honored in March of 2012. I just thought I'd bring these to show. This was her certificate that we gave her from the NAACP. And then this was her Senate resolution that we gave her in March of 2012. Miss Ann Mack.
Well, hello. What a thrill.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And then down to my further end there, we have none other than the Miss Debbie Joyce, synonymous with the famous Monterey Jazz Festival. Debbie Joyce is a seasoned jazz-oriented vocalist born in Providence, Rhode Island. Her grandfather, Professor Joyce, was a well-known music professor. Welcome to our show, darling.
Thank you, Linda. It's my pleasure.
All
Thank
right.
you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's just jump right in, and let's start with you, Sharon. We're just going to have a conversation about you guys. This is all about Sisters for Jazz, what you have going on, how my audience can get in touch with you, and how they can follow up with you after you leave the show today. So tell us a little bit about you, Sharon.
That is such a loaded question. My name is Sharon Marie Klein. You can find me online at SharonMarieKlein.com, and it's spelled C-L-I-N-E like Patsy Cline, I like to say. not like Calvin, but like Patsy. Right now, I'm in the middle of working on my third album that's going to debut in 2014. It's called This Is Where I Want to Be. And it's a really special project for me because I have, with this album, begun my songwriting career, which I didn't know I had in me until this album. So I've written a few, co-written a few songs on that album. And we're in the studio now putting the finishing touches on that. And in addition, I have a concert coming up in Beverly Hills at the Supper Club Home, which is on Camden Avenue. And I'll show you the little flyer there with my face on it. It's No Place Like Home. It's 430 North Camden Avenue in Beverly Hills, Saturday, September 28th from 7:30 to 11. And I'd love it if all of you would come out and join us for an old school supper club. I'm really excited about it. We're going to have a lot of great music celebrating, our great American songbook.
All right,
Yeah.
great. That is so great. Look forward to that.
Thank you.
Actually, there's so much going on that day, but I'm gonna
know.
be like a little clone going around
I
town.
know.
But yes, so next we have Miss Ann Mack. Miss Ann, please tell us a little bit about what you have going on.
Well, what I have going on right now is a tribute I'm going to do to Sarah Vaughan, and I can say I was brought up on the wonderful voice, the lady with the gift, Miss Sarah Vaughan. My auntie would bring records home, and I've been listening to her all my life, and I I won't and cannot deny the fact that I am influenced by this wonderful voice, as I am many others also. But I'm very glad and very happy to do this tribute to Sassy. I'm singing songs that Sassy sang,
Wow.
and it'll be on October 5th on a Saturday at 7:30 at the M Bar.
Wow, that is great. I look forward to that show. I will be cloned on that day as well. Be hopping around trying to get to all my legends that are doing things on that day. And now we have Miss Debbie Joyce. What do
Hey,
you have
Linda.
going on, darling?
Well, let's see, just like Anne, I was influenced by, of course, my Aunt Nancy Wilson. Most of the songs that I sing are the songs that she's made famous. And all of my show is based on love. Good love, bad love, indifferent, whatever it may be about. Those are the songs I love to sing. I was influenced by jazz very early in my life, as you said earlier. I will be at the restaurant Pips on La Brea, which is I've been there for the last 2.5 years, and as with Sharon, also I've performed at home, which stands for House of Music and Entertainment. It's a great place, so try to go see Sharon on the 28th. I will be at Pips on La Brea, which is located on 1356 South La Brea, this Wednesday, which is the 18th. I'm there. My show starts at 8. It's from 8 to 10. They have wonderful food there. It's Italian cuisine, and it should be a great show.
Great.
So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you there. Thank you.
Oh, we have a caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and you?
I'm great.
Sounds familiar.
I'm calling to see to ask Ann Mack a question. If she's on your show, I believe,
Yes, she is. And she has a question for you.
All right.
and I think she knows who this is.
I
that's calling
do.
her.
I do. I recognize your voice.
We're very, very good friends. I don't know if
Yeah.
I can say my name.
Sure.
Why not?
I can say my first name anyway. My name is Denise, and Ann and I are extremely close. So I'm calling her to ask her a question.
Okay, go right ahead.
I'd like to know, Ann, why did you choose to do a tribute to Sarah Vaughan?
Oh, wow. I suppose because she's certainly one of the biggest influences in my life. I started listening to her at a very young age, and I was hearing her records, and I was totally blown away, if I could say, by her style, by the many things that she did. She was never limited to uh, the types of songs she sang. I mean, she sang popular as well as jazz, and she even went into some opera.
Wow.
You know, she did My Man's Gone Now from the American Opera Porgy and Bess, and she sung sung with other orchestras with classical music, and she certainly could have been an opera singer if she so chose to do that. But she loved her jazz, and that's what she did. And she was also successful in the commercial field of doing pop songs.
Oh, great. Well, thank you, caller, so much for that question for Ann.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
thank you so much for answering it, Ann, and I will talk with you soon.
Oh, you better believe.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful afternoon, both of you.
All righty. Thank you so much for calling
Uh-huh.
in. Wow, wonderful. We have our first caller to call
Yay,
in.
that was fun.
Well, we're just going to get back into the conversation of, what we're doing in jazz and how this platform has come about to really help us sisters in jazz to really promote and talk about what we're doing. Um, for you, who was your influence in jazz? We'll talk about that.
Actually, both the ladies who influenced these two ladies are some of my major influences. Sarah Vaughan is a very major influence in my life. I'm always so impressed with the emotion with which she sings and her huge range. Those low, low notes that I love to like wallow in. I learned how to sing them through Sarah Vaughan.
Wow.
And I'm college educated. I have my degree in music and theater, but I feel like my graduate school was Sarah Vaughan and Nancy Wilson.
Right.
Truthfully, Nancy's style, her intonation, her just every way, her phrasing. I learned a lot from her as well. Then there are others. Frank Sinatra. He's part of my one of my graduate school teachers.
Okay.
And there are many others. Diana Krall actually influences me too, just in that easy kind of sexy way in which she breathes the lyric. I think that influences me as well.
Oh, that is so great to even know that, we have women whose shoulders we're standing on.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
and when I started doing the Living Legends series that I do in honoring the jazz and blues legends, it was important for me to have our generation, my generation being that I'm in the 50s, to really understand those that came before them.
Right.
And to know these great people that are right here in LA with them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go to our website, which is livinglegendfoundation.com, and see all the wonderful 55 legends that we've honored so far. I have a great team of individuals that helped me put those series on. We just honored Les McCann and Bobby Spencer and Daniel Jackson not too long ago, on August 22nd, as a matter of fact. Had a great time and a great showing.
You've done such a wonderful job with that. It's amazing.
Oh,
that
thank you.
You've done this.
Thank you so much.
Someone had to, right?
Yeah, and it's such important work because you would be amazed at the lack of information that we have on our legends here. The ones that you would think are so successful or who are out there all the time. If you Google them, analytics and Google's and the computer is so important now in this age. It wasn't so much important when they were coming up and when they were singing. We didn't have internet. We didn't have all these tools, social media. But now these tools are the tools that the younger generation is using to search and find and look up and imitate these different legends.
Right.
And so it's important that, when I started to work is to make sure that information was out there, that we could find them. And I still have so much more work to do in terms of that just that area. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about you guys and what you're doing. And I know that this project now, and on one Tuesday nights, you're somewhere every week at a
workshop in
Yeah.
Lamert Park. I go to the Lamert Park workshop in which Howlett Smith, the world stage that Billy Higgins founded. And it's a landmark in our community, and it's all kinds of people that famous jazz people have come through that little place. It's a great place, and we hope that it will continue to be there. I go there on Tuesdays because Howlett Smith,
One of our legends.
one of our legends, who is a wonderful pianist and a brilliant composer. He, as a matter of fact, Debbie Joyce, one of Nancy's biggest hits was one that Howlett wrote, and that was "Let's Go Where the Grass Is Greener."
I was just listening to that on the way over here.
Yeah, that's Howlett's song.
Wow, that's
Wow.
great.
Yeah.
What is the address of that place? It sounds interesting.
Oh, I think it's 4344.
Yes.
If my memory's Degnan.
Yeah, it's right across the street from Barbara's place, the Barbara
Oh,
Morrison
alright.
Performing Arts
Alright.
Center. Yeah, right across the street.
Yeah.
World Stage, world phenomenal historical place that Billy Higgins started.
Yes.
So I look forward to coming over there one Tuesday and just popping in. I know there's all kinds of singers that are there just practicing their chops.
Yes, you would just truly enjoy yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
There are from professionals to non-professionals. There's teenagers, all ages, all sizes.
Oh my gosh,
It,
yes.
It's we're spreading the word. We have to. Us older singers need to help the young ones. We want them to know about our culture. We want them to know about the jazz.
Absolutely.
You know,
That's great.
Wow. Sounds exciting.
it is.
It is.
And Miss Joyce, what do you do normally when you're not on that stage singing?
When I really know now. What do I really do? I'm actually kind of researching a lot of things for the music that I sing. A lot of times people will sing a song but don't really know who the writer is. Nancy did a lot of songs that were done by Johnny Mercer, who's one of my favorite, Billy Strayhorn, and those. I just kind of try to get into the background of the songs that I do. That's one of the things that I that's not all I do, but that's what I do most of the time. And before I prepare my sets, I make sure that they're prepared in the order of just the context of the entire song, of the songs.
Well, with that, I don't know. Ben, can we take a quick break and go into one of the ladies' songs? Let's do that. We'll take a quick break and we'll go into one of your songs that Van will play. Let's recognize who it is.
Yeah.
And then
That'll
we'll
be
come back.
easy. I know. That'll be real easy. We're all different.
Why do I love you so strong, like a bead of honey? All wrong, but I can't help helping myself, tasting your taste in tiny sips. Baby, you're like sugar on my lips. All through the summer we were so bad, and when it got hotter, so glad. Should've known I couldn't resist, couldn't stop with just one kiss. Baby, you're like sugar on my lips. You've got that wicked little smile, and you smell so sweet. I feel those muscles in your arms, they knock me off my feet. When we're close and the room is dark, kiss me, baby, drive me crazy. I like this part.
now we're back from break, and that was our lovely Sharon Marie Klein. And you're listening to Sisters for Jazz on the Sisters at the Well radio show at latalklive.com. I do understand that I gave the number out incorrectly for callers, so I do want to give that again. Please call us at 323-247-7443. I patched it up the last time. It was 33, but it's 7443. We look forward to all the calls that's coming back in. Wonderful. Sharon, that song, what was the influence for that song? That is great.
That song is called Sugar on My Lips, and that's one of the songs that I co-wrote with Mark Winkler, who is a very, very well-known and acclaimed songwriter and singer himself. And I took his class, actually, his songwriting class, and I came up with the title in the class. And I knew that I was onto something because his eyes lit up, and for like the entire semester, he chased me to find out if I'd written it yet, the song. And so, and when I didn't move fast enough, he started to write something. I'm like, wait a minute, this is my song. So then I jumped in there, and so he kind of like motivated me to write it. But I really, I don't know, I always say, hey, sugar, to people. I call people sugar lips. Sometimes I say that in my sets. And I just started thinking sugar on my lips, and just the sensuality of that phrase and what that conjures is what inspired the song. And I chose to record it the way I did because I wanted to be kind of sparse and sexy, kind of that, with the bongos, kind of Peggy Lee-ish in a way, very West Coast cool like.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah. It definitely, it sounds very good. It's
very nice.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, I'm at a loss, but I'm going to keep going here, ladies. Just jump right in whenever you like, and please just go on and help me out here.
You're doing great.
So, Miss Debbie, tell us, just in terms of your styling, we was talking earlier as we was coming in about how the different styling and phrasing comes into play when you do your singing.
Right.
Give us a little bit of education here for all of our listeners.
As I said earlier, it's that a lot of times people will emulate someone else. They'll sing a song, and the main thing, as I think Sharon was saying earlier, is that people don't know how to phrase, because when a person writes a song, it has to do with their feelings, their thoughts, their problems. So you want to be able to sing it and convey the thought. So it has to do, if you don't know how to phrase properly, the song doesn't come through. It has to be stopped at a certain point. It has to start at a certain point. You need to breathe at a certain point. And those are things that I learned not only from Nancy but from my father. Mm-hmm. So that's probably one of my strongest points when I sing. And I take them all very personally.
Oh, great.
So, yes.
Have you ever thought about teaching? We can get a little mentorship class going on?
Well, not necessarily, but it's not something that I'm not against doing that.
Okay.
I think it would be really good because I think, as I said, a lot of people, they'll copy like Stevie Wonder, they'll copy somebody, and they're singing the words. And then unless you know the song, you have no idea what it's saying.
Right.
And that's to me the most important part about singing.
That is true.
That's the most important part.
Absolutely.
I do find though, like the jazz affords us that. I mean, I think in pop music,
true.
They don't pay attention to that. It's more rhythmic. But the better pop songs are the ones that actually connect to the emotion and the intent of the song.
Right.
But I agree. I feel like that's so important, the communication of the lyric and the emotion, and our desire for it to land with our audience.
Well, you'll take someone like Stevie Wonder, for instance. Mm-hmm. There's all of his songs, and considering the fact that he's blind,
right,
or your senses are much more keen.
Mm-hmm.
So I listen to the songs that he does, and there's not one song that I can say that I can think that I didn't visualize the whole thing.
Exactly.
I see us in the park,
mm-hmm,
strolling the summer days,
Oh,
imagining is in my head,
mm-hmm,
the words from my heart. So I get chills thinking about his writing.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So the younger people don't have that luxury, shall I say?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
or awareness.
Or awareness, yeah.
Awareness, really.
Well, I think a lot of it is the way we came up.
Yes.
When when I was young, which was a long time ago,
Oh.
we had the luxury of using our imagination. We had the theater of the mind. We had the radio. We had the storytelling. So we had to visualize listening to the radio. And as I sing a song, I'm visualizing. I never sing a song that I don't like the story. I know the story. The story is me.
I agree.
And I have a running picture show of what I'm singing. So I'm visualizing as I sing, and I'm interpreting. I agree with everything Debbie says. That is so right on.
Yeah.
But I like your point that you made of that every time you sing, even though I'm feeling it very much when I'm singing a song. But the fact that you brought up that you're visualizing, that's something that I could use as I'm singing. So
Absolutely.
that's a good point for our young listeners.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a running movie in my head.
That keeps the song.
that keeps the song. I'm seeing myself as, if I were singing the nearness of you, I'm near somebody.
So you can really
So
get
I
into
can
it.
really get in. It's real.
Yes.
Yeah, we're interpreting. We're telling a story there. We're taking a person on a journey, and we want them to take that journey too, wherever so they can take it with you.
That'll be the word of the day. Take yourself on a journey.
Yeah.
I like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Good, man. That's a good one, Ann.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that coming up at the end of the month, we have a Blues Diva show that's going to be at Barbara Morrison's on the 28th. It's a Sunday, from 2 to 4.
The 29th.
The 29th. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. See, it's the 29th, Sunday from 2 to 4. And we have chosen 9 amazing, there's so many divas here in LA. I'm not going to even claim to say who's better, who's this, but we have just a nice little lineup of 9 of the divas here in LA. Like Miss Charmaine Clamore, Miss Mary Bogue. We have Kim Foley, Jessica Taylor, Dee Dee McNeil, Ava. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll come back to that. We have a caller. Hi, caller. Please identify yourself, please.
Yes, this is Kathy.
Hi,
Calling from
Kathy.
Inglewood. Hi.
Hi. Can you turn your radio down for us, Kathy?
Sure.
How are you? Do you have a question for one of our guests or a comment?
Yes, I have a question for Miss Ann Mack. I'm a fan of hers. I've heard her perform over at the World Stage. I want you to know, how did she actually get started in the business?
Well, when I got started in the business, there weren't any schools, and I came up in a very strict family who they did not want me to be singing jazz. So to be perfectly honest, I'm going to tell you, I was slipping out my window, my second story window, stepping on a clothesline, and getting my way down to where I could go sing. And this guy that I knew, he had this joint. It was a joint. And I was too young to be in there, but he protected me. His name was Bill Myers, by the way. He's long made the transition, but he would. This is the truth. This is a true story. He would pull out his pistol and put it on the bar and tell all those people in there, "Hey, you can look, but you better not touch." And I would sing with the jukebox. I just started out singing because I wanted to sing and I didn't know where to start. And he would see that I got home, but I would go to different places, and the people that were singing there would let me sing oftentimes. There was a lady named Dolly at the Cedar Gardens. Happened in Cleveland. And she would let me sing, and that's how I got started. I mean, just started singing in clubs. There was a guy named Spencer Thompson that used to let me sing, and he said, "Well, what key do you sing?" And I didn't know. He said, "Well,
A key?
a key." I said, "Well," he said, "Well, if you want to know the key, you're going to have to pay me some dues, and your dues is the drink." And so I had to pay him a drink, and he said, "Oh, you sang that in B flat."
Wow.
And I came back, and I was paying my little dues, beginning, and that's the way I began my singing.
Wow, that is a
extraordinary.
great
That's
story.
pretty funny.
Wow.
Thank you, caller, for calling in and asking Ann that great question.
Thank you,
Thank
Kath.
you. Thank you as well, and much success to all the ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty then. Can we go into another song from maybe Miss Ann Mack so that our listeners can hear? How about that? We'll see about that. While Ann Van gets that into place, we'll go into a wonderful break here.
That's my song again. Hmm.
Quiet nights of quiet stars, quiet chords from my guitar, floating on the silence that surrounds us. Quiet thoughts and quiet dreams, quiet walks by quiet streams, holding hands where lovers go to watch the world below together. We will live eternally in this mood of reverie, away from all the earthly cares around us. My world was dull each minute until I found you in it. And all at once the happiness I knew became these quiet nights of loving you.
Hi, this is Barbara Perkins, inviting you to join us every Sunday afternoon at 2:40 for Sisters at the Well Radio, a conversation with women about women. Join us as we share stories about current events, jazz events, business opportunities, health and wellness, entertainment, and so much more. So don't forget to tune in Sundays at 2:40, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, I'm Ro Williams, and I would like to invite you to join GospelRhythms.com every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our show, GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio. Join us as we celebrate Christians around the world in all genres of entertainment, as well as highlight interest stories on men and women who are making a difference and impacting their community. So don't forget to tune in to GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio, exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes under R&B or watch us live on Ustream TV. We are reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio on LATalkLive.com. We're more than just talk. We're heaven's party here on earth.
One, two, three, four.
One day last month, when March was new, the weather turned around and spring arrived with you. That day we felt a warmer sun, a promise in the air said April had begun for us to share. It was strawberry spring, and early falls kind of thing. For when love happens too fast, it's like strawberry spring. It never.
Wow, wow, wow. That was Ann Mack and Mr. Howlett Smith. Incredible, incredible, incredible.
Another one of his compositions.
Wow, absolutely.
So lush.
Well, we're back from the break, and we was listening to the smooth sounds of Ann Mack, along with our living legend, Mr. Howlett Smith. Such a great composition of his.
Yeah.
And you're listening to and watching Sisters for Jazz on Sisters at the Well Radio. I'm so excited to be doing this show. My girlfriend, Barbara Perkins, I hope you're watching, because she brought me into this kicking and screaming by my little hair and said, you're going to do this.
We're glad.
So I am thanking her so much for just this opportunity to get in front of the camera. I mean, it would be one thing if I was just on the air and you couldn't see me, but to do them both at the same time, at the same, it's just like a mad rush. And normally she's here with me, but she's in D.C., for preparing for a big week with the caucus, which I'll be leaving on Wednesday to go to. So thank you again, Barbara, just for this opportunity. And I am so excited to just be able to have incredible women in the studio with me. Miss Sharon Marie Klein right here to my right, and Ann Mack next to her, and then Debbie Joyce down there on the end. We're just having a conversation about jazz. And thank you to my brother who's out there critiquing me very much through my phone. I love that very much. It helps me to stay focused. So thank you very much, brother. You know who you are. So, ladies, let's just get back into some conversation about, let's talk about the LA jazz scene. What did you guys see that article that somebody wrote about LA jazz scene is just dead?
Really?
I think that was Eric Scott on Eric Reed on Facebook. Did you happen to see that?
I didn't see it. What did it say? What did he say?
He said, LA, the jazz scene, lady, you better get it together or you're going to be like something in the past or something. And then
calling LA the lady?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, and just her jazz scene being, not what it used to be.
Interesting. Because I feel like it's getting better. I mean, when I first moved out here, it was dead. It is growing. I feel like thanks to people like you and us, who are out there living it and promoting it. I do feel like the scene is growing. It's not on the same level as some other metropolises. It's not like New York. It's not like Chicago. It's not like Atlanta.
But I
Boston.
heard that it used to be. There used to be so many clubs that jazz was playing in.
Probably the Coconut Grove, things like that.
Oh my God, the IT Club. We can just go
that
on
was
and
back
on.
in the day.
Not only that, but there were just little places. I mean, I know how I worked. I mean, we always had it. There was always a gig.
Our legend, Art Hillary, the 5-4 bar, all these names they would tell me. The Parisian Room, Marla's Memory Lane. There were so many different places that you could go and hear jazz, and it wasn't $55 to go and sit.
Right.
And you got to spend $75 and eat and drink, and it wasn't all those requirements. So, what do you guys say? How do we turn that into? Because what I see is that our younger generation do not get to hear the music as much because of that. What do you think?
Well, I think that the internet, even though it's wonderful, has killed a lot of that also. I think things like Sharon said, it's coming back, but it's a very slow process. People have access to music on the internet, so they don't go out. They don't want to pay musicians what they're supposed to be paid. That's the number one thing. The number one thing. And it's just between cell phones, there's distractions, put it that way. I do think that at some point that I think we're bringing it more up to the forefront again, but it's still going to take a while.
Oh yeah,
it's still going to take a while because people are just, I think they're interested, but they're so used to hearing things that are not live.
They're easily distracted.
That was my term. They're distracted.
Yeah, and I've gotten to the point where I really love enjoying going to listen to some live jazz.
Oh yes.
I started out this journey with smooth jazz, as most of you may know. I had the moniker Smooth Ahead, and it was a way for me to get my friends in my generation to come and listen to straight ahead jazz. They thought Linda's doing a smooth jazz show. But when they get there, they get a dose of nothing but straight ahead jazz from some of the, legends or the young cats in jazz that was coming around. Smooth Ahead, she's still around, but she's grown, in broad and with the Living Legend Foundation. So when you see that little head, the little ball-headed logo, that is me as well. But one of the other things I wanted to talk about is I really want to get more involved in getting younger adults, younger children involved in all the shows around town. How do we create a movement to where parents start bringing them to the shows? I know during the week it would be tough, because of school. But my little 12-year-old, hi, Aaron, I know you're sitting there watching this with your grandmother on your little laptop. But how do we get them to be able to come out to the shows and start liking the music?
You just have an exceptional 12-year-old, that's why. And I've met him before, and I know that he is. I don't know if Sharon was going to say something.
Oh, well, I was going to say we would create concerts that are earlier in the evening that are not in bars, perhaps. And I think something that I do in my shows is I do bring in certain other elements with the standards sometimes to make them quote unquote fresh, so that it starts to appeal to that generation that's listening to a certain type of music, so that they hear the straight ahead and then they hear the inspire, the 21st century versions of some of these standards, and then they hear them combined. So they're getting the education around it. Also, it's really sad that there's no longer music education in schools.
I know.
And if we could find some way to do programs, even if they're after school programs in some of these community centers, where maybe we got together as teams of us divas to put on, just to bring an hour of music for free.
That would be great, because I know a lot of parents, that don't have kids in after school care. What if I just got it. Let's make a jazz daycare.
I like it.
They drop them off at like Barbara's.
Exactly.
Or Fernando's.
Maybe
or
a summer camp.
Yeah, or at the World Stage. And instead of going to after school care, they come to a jazz daycare. And they sit there and, after they do their homework, they sit and they listen to some jazz singers. I think that would be a great idea.
I think it's a fabulous idea.
Too.
I'm in.
The Leimert Park is so budding with places for us to, as I think about doing this, I think it would be great, because if we don't bring the music to them, they're not going to hear it.
Right.
That's
They've
right.
taken it out of schools. So the only way that we're going to get it is that the parents bring them to us. So, you know what I'm saying?
And they would probably
That's-
enjoy that relief of having some place for the children to go.
I think that's one of the problems. It has to do with the school situation.
Absolutely, because their kids are saying they don't know jazz. That's why they don't like it.
Right.
Well, it's different music, but it's as American as jazz.
Well, and just like we've been saying, it's heartfelt music. It's a communication, and I think once they actually are present to it, they are always turned on by it.
Right.
That's been my experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And my little 12-year-old, he loves listening to some jazz now. And it's only because I've gotten him accustomed and being around it that he can appreciate it.
Right.
I mean, I could tell him the name of someone and he can give you their last name.
That's so amazing.
You know, and it's
that's
just
great.
because he's been accustomed to hearing me talk about it.
But that's again, it has to do with you as a parent. You're introducing him to that. A lot of parents, they might like it. They may say, "Oh, we're going to go out to some place and listen to jazz," but it doesn't integrate their kids into it at all, because their kids are listening to their with their iPhones or whatever, their iPods, and that's what they're listening to their own. It's a whole different situation altogether.
Right.
It doesn't even apply anymore.
It is. You know, I like my parents' music, you know. I felt grown up listening to that music, you know, but that doesn't seem to be the case today.
Right.
No.
You know.
And I think it starts with the parents, like you say, just introducing them. You never know what your child's interest will be if you don't put it in front of them.
That's
They
true.
have a lot of free concerts, like the Fridays at LACMA, that starts early in April and goes all the way to September on Fridays.
Right.
Instead of just you going out there and drink, take a picnic basket and take your kids out there with you.
Yes.
You know, so that they can hear the music. You know, you never know
I mean,
what
that's
little.
a great idea. I mean, but
It
I
is.
don't see parents want to kind of say, we have an evening away from the kids from them. Let's listen to some jazz. So we got to find another way of.
Okay, but there's 4 Fridays in a month. Take 2 and give it to them.
No, I agree. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. But
Yeah.
I
It's different. But
Yeah.
maybe if we made it such a way that it was beneficial for the parents on a Friday night, you know, that it was, okay, you drop them off at daycare and they're going to have fun for 4 or 5 hours. You know, the parents will be supportive of that. You know, they
Right.
can go listen to their jazz at the LACMA and we'll take care of the babies and teach them some jazz on our own.
And also the workshop in Leimert Park on Tuesdays.
Yes.
We don't have a range of age. You know, we have some young people that are doing some marvelous things in there.
Yeah.
Really. You need to come in. There's people that just make it a habit to come in and listen because there's some really good singers in there.
Absolutely. And then even for those young musicians, on Mondays, Jacques LaSure and the Jam Session is doing it at Barbara Morris's
Absolutely.
Performing
Right.
Arts Center.
Yes.
Every
yes.
Monday. And when there's cats here in town, when Marsalis stopped in one Monday, just different cats just come in and sit in. He doesn't try to be all professional. Come and jam wherever level that you are.
what time does that start, Barbara?
That
Linda,
starts
I'm
at
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
And they go to sometimes 11, 12 o'clock at night, depending on how many people are there. And you sign up, and it's only $5. But still, you have a range of jazz artists, musicians that are coming there and just chopping it up. You know, and they got a supportive audience to be there. I am so excited about Barbara having the center, Barbara Morrison, having that center.
Me too.
And the opportunity for us to be able to do things there. You know,
Absolutely.
I think, you know, she's outgrown it because of the size now, but she has plays that goes on every Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Sharon Grain has brought in some incredible plays there, 4 to be exact. She just finished a play with Eartha Kitt play that just ended. She's getting ready to start one called Just Old Men Talking. Another one is Benches. And then
Really?
I Want to Be Loved is coming back on that same Sunday, the 29th,
Right.
4 o'clock. Barbara will be there with her great show of Dinah Washington.
Yeah.
I have sat and watched this show. It is incredible to see Barbara perform the Dinah Washington show. So I encourage everybody, you know, I think this next one is sold out, but every month, once a month, she'll be doing that. So you can go to barbaramorrison.com or barbaramorrisonpac.com to get information on those shows. So,
I've seen it 3 times. It is fabulous.
oh my God. How
It is wonderful. That's what you're talking about is community. And I do think that's what's so important for all of us. I'm all about community, and I think all of us here are about community. And that also might be the first step in sharing with young people, continuing to bring it back to community and supporting community so that we can keep bringing forth the music that we love and the education that we have to share.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know, when you mentioned Barbara is the epitome of community.
Yes.
Whenever you go to one of Barbara's shows, if you're a singer, you're singing. And you're up there singing because she shares that stage with you. And I think that's more what we need in our artistic community.
Right.
Is that communal partnership to keep bringing forth something that's greater than we are.
Yeah, that's great. I look so much forward to not next weekend, the 28th and 29th, to do that we're going to do a walk with Barbara. If most people may not know,
Right, exactly.
Barbara, has, she had diabetes, or she still has diabetes, and she had both of her legs amputated. But that has not stopped her, not one bit. If you see her, you will be amazed at the drive and the stamina that she has in continuing to fight for music and to have a place for people to come and to be able to share this great art of music. BarbaraMorrison.com is her website. She is the hardest working woman in jazz, if you ask me. She has a show every weekend. If you look at her schedule,
2 or 3 times.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times at a given time. So just being able to look up to her as somebody that is living and breathing jazz. You was going to say something, Deb?
No, I was basically saying, and I went to see her on her birthday, as you did last week, and it's very important that we try to donate to whatever we can for her, so she can keep the center alive, and as we said, for these young kids to have a place to go, and also to help her in her fight of her diabetes fight at this point.
Yeah, and she's not going to stop. So I mean, I applaud her with everything that she's doing. I'm there to help as much as I can. So if you guys can spread the word, help me spread the word for for the 28th and 29th, the Walk with Barbara, right there in Leimert Park. We're going to walk around Leimert Park starting at 10 in the morning and wind up there in the center. We got 3 different stages of music going on for that weekend. So it's going to be a great time, and I look forward to it. So can we go to a break again, Van, and hear maybe another one of our songs? I know I'm sorry that I'm probably interrupting at this time, but it's a good thing to be able to have we have a great technician in here.
Yes.
Van, can you put the camera on yourself? No. Okay.
Once I was a sentimental thing, threw my heart away each spring. Now a spring romance hasn't got a chance. Promised my first dance to winter. All I've got to show's a splinter for my little flame. Spring this year has got me feeling like a horse that never left the post. I lie in my room, staring up at the ceiling. Spring can really hang you up the most. Morning's kiss wakes trees and flowers, and to them I'd like to drink a toast. I walk in the park just to kill lonely hours. Spring can really hang you up the most. All afternoon, those birds twitter-twit. I know their tune. This is love. This is it. I know their tune. I know.
Wow, that was another incredible song by our living legend, Miss Ann Mack. That was a great song. What was the name of that title of that song, Ann?
Spring can really hang you up the most.
Oh, great. You know what I just thought about? I know it's impromptu, but can each one of you just give me a little something on the mic? Just break into one of your songs and give me a couple of little...
Don't start with me.
Okay, I know that was impromptu and on putting you on the spot, but come on, just give me a little bit of something.
Let's see.
So the listeners can hear you live here on the station.
How about? I was saying, okay, I'll sing something, a little something. This is a song called "Wild as the Wind." I'm singing just a couple of lines in it.
Okay.
Love me, say you do. Let me fly away with you, for my love is like the wind, and wild is the wind.
Wow, thank you so much, Debbie. Yes. Come on, give me a little bit, Ann. If you want to give me a little bit, just give me one verse.
They say into your early life romance came, and in this heart of yours burns a flame that flickered one day, then died away.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Sharon.
Sophisticated lady.
I'll go a different way. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them. Goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose.
Wow, that's great, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we're going to be wrapping up the show now. Thank you guys so much for coming. I've had a wonderful time with you, ladies.
Me too. It's been fun.
Absolutely.
Nice getting to know each other a little bit more.
And you can search and Google each of my guests today, Miss Debbie Joyce, Joyce, Miss Ann Mack, and Miss Sharon Marie Klein, like Cline. And you can always visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/Sisters at the Well Radio for all of our upcoming shows that we have here on LA Talk Live. Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, Van. Thank you to each one of you for being here.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right.
Of the wonderful things that you get out of life, there are 4. Now, there may not be many, but nobody needs any more. Of the many facts making the list of life, truth takes the lead. You better relax, knowing the gist of life, 'cause it's truth you need. And the second is honor, and happiness makes number 3. When you put them together, you know what the last one's got to be. Baby, so for truth, honor, and happiness, add one thing more, meaning only wonderful, wonderful love. That'll make it 4.